Fast forward, any come out China, so AGH politics already. Podcast are set training because you make headlines. And a jump right now, it be Oxum, a while see, and idiom Mahundraxima say, and the can. They are not subscribe to the channel, Amami. Hit notification bell so share na a bushia korum emu entry. But that's it, Yami shock, say what me. I answer Eddie Amami. Me Maurin feet say, a yan watch your waging. I will see how and so Eddie Amami. Young political highway sitting. Only Cocobod. Akuafo esu se omukoko a omu atagu ho. Aban no enye sika ntua omuka. Na we say ena communicator bi ema NDC etimi ababonten on TV3 New Day so a ochre se. Aban no so ampa oban na ka obeto eye sika enka wodi bede wodi betwetwe bia eka because kwayo hui onu enough from kra na we ni fro honso a osan edumu esuko echire kitasehye proye kankan MPP amayeko no ebo egu ho a ansana omo efri aban kansi sudua say ye road contracts bi ho a ye koko road omo she contract na out a onua na ensem fata sika ahodo bebre na etimi afefa omu ensase onua asem no asefima ene ajemre na edibi exumwo yomo wansimni
coupled with what is happening on the global scene with regards to the cocoa prices to be the challenge. You agree with that?
You see, until we begin to say things as they are, and until we begin to put the spotlight where it's supposed to be, we'll continue to have problems in this country. Actually, yesterday, I was so much annoyed when I saw the press conference of the minority. I was so much annoyed, given the fact that they are the very people who created the kind of mess we find ourselves in that sector. I mean, if you look at the way they mismanaged Cocobod in the last 8 years, you wonder whether these people have any sense of shame. That you go to the extent of having press conference accusing this government and the Cocobod for the mess that the very mess that you created. You see, if you are managing an institution, we shouldn't always focus on revenue. We should also look at expenditure and how funds are managed in that institution. Check the records in the last 8 years of MPP. Cocobod, the kind of things that went into the administration of Cocobod, finances and all that. An institution that could buy sacks to be used for 10 years. What kind of management is this? Look at the way they were dishing out cocoa roots contracts to people. I mean, there was total chaos in that sector. And the very people who did that, that's the kind of democracy should not be encouraged in this country. That you come and destroy, you loot, you steal. After that, you go out there and be accusing the one, fix it. Then if that is it, then anybody can be president in this country. If it's about mismanaging, destroying, and just accusing the one who has taken over to fix it, then we don't have to worry ourselves. Anybody at all can be, any political party or anybody at all can be president and govern this country. So it's quite annoying. You see, so it doesn't lie in the mouth of MPP to ask this government to fix the problem. They should let the citizenry and the cocoa farmers say it, not MPP. Given the kind of mess they've created in that sector. You see, and we should have a system where people will be punished for mismanagement, gross mismanagement, and outright thievery. Because nobody has been punished from that institution. That's why they have the effrontery to be saying the things they are saying. Private sector will manage something and make profit. Just buying cocoa and to sell. You don't produce cocoa. Somebody has produced cocoa. Go and buy and sell. That one you can't manage it. Then after 8 years, you are now accusing someone who has taken over your mess, trying to resolve your mess. You are accusing the person. You think if they came to meet money, they wouldn't have paid the farmers? So that is the issue. See, just look at this issue of rollover. And that is what annoys me. You've entered into forward contract to do forward sale. You think hedging is good, so let me hedge. Okay, so now you are supposed to supply a certain quantity of tons of cocoa. You couldn't supply an amount of, I think, 10,000 tons or so. You had money for it too, but you couldn't supply because the money has been paid to you in advance. You couldn't supply. Why didn't you keep the money for subsequent season? When you get money, when you get cocoa, then you buy for them. You squandered that money. That is one leg of it. You squandered that money that you borrowed. Oh, sorry, that you received as forward payment. You squandered it. Then, now what is even worse is that because we are now supposed to supply or deliver at higher price, we've lost, or it has resulted in book-to-market losses of about 840 million dollars thereabout. And you have the effort to be organizing press conference in this country. You've let all this mess. Look, the money that was given to you, you've squandered it. Because you had money, you had to engage in buying cocoa sacks 10 years to be used in 10 years. Because you don't have to spend the money for yourselves. Look at how the road contracts were inflated. And all these things have gone on. And you think, instead of you to proffer solutions as to how to solve the problem, as to how to look at a financing model that will help us to come out of this situation, you are just accusing and saying all manner of things, spewing nonsense and all that. You see, our position as United Party, which we have expressed in our GTP, is that, in fact, even before we had the problem with the syndicated loan, the external one, we said it was not sustainable. It doesn't make sense to listen to this. You buy cocoa in cities. Then you go and borrow dollars to come and buy in cities. Then after that, when you get money, you change it to dollars and you pay back. It means you don't get anything. It's like -1 + 1 is equal to 0.
I mean, depending on if we generally have a stronger currency, it may be a bit different. But normally, we will not get to that level of the pegging. So.
Yeah. So the point I'm making is that why don't you do the syndication locally? These local banks can finance it. There are local banks here who can finance our cocoa pitches.
$1.3 billion annually.
But see, that's why it's syndication.
Put them together.
Only one.
Yes, that's why. Yeah, different. That's why it's syndication. Now, if you do that, what it means is that now you borrowed in cities. You are buying in cities. When you sell, you get dollars. Now the country benefits dollars. You have dollars in your country. You are not going to send the dollars back again. That's how we should manage our situation. We also believe that we should allow the private sector. We should offload some of the shares of Cocobod to the private sector. I mean, let's offload some on stock exchange, Ghana Stock Exchange and other exchanges. Let private individuals also be share owners of Cocobod. Or even the farmers, we can give them an option for the farmers to also be part owners of Cocobod through shares. If you do that, then it becomes collective thing. But the situation where the politicians see Cocobod as a cash cow. So when they come, they throw in people who have no knowledge about management. People who have little or no knowledge about management, because that place is a cash cow. That is where they get money to finance their political parties. That's where they give contracts, they inflate contract 2 or 3 times the price. And that has been the system. And it was worse last 8 years under Akufo-Addo administration. And so that is why it's quite annoying. See, we need to do proper modeling. We need to have financial model that will solve this problem. It's not just about paying them. Yes, the finance minister should be able to find money to pay them. It's as a matter of urgency. But beyond that, as a nation, let's come together. We have perfect solutions in our GTP. The government can consider it. I mean, they can glean from it. We are not saying take everything, but you can take some of the things you've suggested, add some to it. Let's have permanent solution to this problem. So whether you like it or not, cocoa sector is one of the backbones. If you have so many backbones in Ghana, it's one of the backbones of this economy. And therefore, we should have our best. You see, I was telling somebody yesterday, why is it that in Finland, it's the best students who teach, the first class students who teach. In Ghana, it's those who fail and try 3 times who teach.
I mean,
No, I'm coming.
I mean, not all of them are.
Yeah, most of the time. So the point I'm making is that the point I'm making.
My teacher friends to come after me.
No.
For what you are saying.
No. I'm saying that.
I get a point.
Okay. Some of them. Let me. I didn't mean all of them, but let me make it clear.
I thought briefly.
The point I'm making is that the point I'm making is that at any point in time we should have our best brains managing our resources, not political appointees who know next to nothing. Let's have our best brains.
Okay.
If you have institutions as important as Cocobod, and look at what the president of the association or whatever said, that it's become a political, So now they throw people in there, just go and make sure that we get money to finance our political party activities. It's quite sad.
Do you think, 2 questions, but before I come to the second one, let me just ask you that, I mean, and for those of you, some of you'd like to do politics with everything, so just to put it in context, the syndicated loan, we stopped it in August 2024. It was announced by the former Chief Executive Officer, Joseph Boahi Edu. At the start of the season, even before the September 1, when the season opened, he did indicate that Cocobod will not raise a syndicated loan for 2024-2025 season for the first time in over 3 decades. And he goes on to say that we are not taking funds from cocoa traders as well. The money will come locally. We are going to be self-financing. So that was the point that he made. He says, worst case scenario, we'll do a cocktail of self-financing and domestic financing. So that's what he said in August of 2024. In fact, 20th August 2024. I mean, basically trying to do what you're talking about.
Do you think that, given the situation of Cocobod, the balance sheet of Cocobod and all that, do you think lenders were prepared to give Ghana money?
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That you see, they don't want to tell the truth.
So I mean,
because of the mess, lenders were not prepared to give. Why do you put your money into an institution that is sinking financially?
Okay.
So what they are saying is not they are not presenting the true facts.
Okay.
The fact is that because of the mess they created in that sector, lenders were not prepared to part with money to finance our cocoa purchase. That is the fact.
Okay.
And coupled with the fact that this rollover issue, you go and take money, you chop the money. Now somebody will have to come and pay the money. Now pay even more because now the price, I think, was $2,600 at the time per ton. Now it is more, as we saw, it's about 4,000 something. So we have to pay more than twice or almost twice what you would have paid if you had supplied. The price at which would have supplied if you had done the full complete supply in the previous season. So my brother, let's be serious in this country.
And I mean, Ebo was talking about the state of Cocobod, and I didn't interject because I mean earlier I made a point that I would share with you what the IMF said about Cocobod. In fact, the government of Ghana in the last IMF report, government speaking to the IMF, the government made a point that they are now actively participating in price-setting deliberations. A cocoa desk has been established at the Ministry of Finance. Funding plans will be reviewed regularly and associated with contingency planning exercises. Should downside risk materialize, would ensure that Cocobod scales down spending further to ensure a balanced financial position. Consistent with the program design, Cocobod will refrain from mobilizing any non-consensual funding and or any collateralized funding except for its annual syndicated loan. We know that did not happen. We have amended the Cocobod bill to further strengthen financial oversight over Cocobod and ensure policy coherence and the efficient management of resources in the cocoa sector. And so there were challenges with what Cocobod have been doing over the period. In fact, they said that they want to limit Cocobod's quasi-fiscal activities, which is a nice way of saying that some of the things they were spending on are things that you cannot attribute directly to what Cocobod is doing. And the BOG, there's a part of the report that makes the point that the BOG continues to have significant and profitable exposures to SOEs such as Cocobod. So Cocobod is one of the SOEs that every part of the IMF report that has to do with debt, you see Cocobod are being thrown in there. In fact, there's a turnaround strategy that Ghana is currently implementing with the World Bank support to undertake a functional expenditure review to enhance efficiency and prepare a cocoa sector's modernization strategy to improve resilience and competitiveness. Let me come to Austin now. And I mean, Austin, what's your own appreciation of what the challenge is? I mean, at the heart of it all are the poor cocoa farmers. They've gone through the season, their products are ready, they've made it available, and their money is now the problem.
Yes, sir. The essence of the entire discussion is lost to politics. In fact, the whole conversation is really with politics. All I hear from the functionaries, or I hear from appointees of the governing National Democratic Congress, is politics. All I hear from the minority is politics, politics, politics. What are the issues? Today, as we speak, as of early 2026, spot prices were trading at around $4,100 to $4,300, with futures prices, in fact, fluctuating. So it is no longer feasible for the government to guarantee the farm gate price that was announced in the 2025-2026 season. Don't forget, the farm gate price was 58,000 cedis. Today, if you are to do the math, even if granted the CD is trading, the CD is running against the dollar for maybe at the amount of maybe 11 CD. If you do the math times 4,100 cedis, the government will not be able to pay the farm gate price. That is a major challenge. So, what are the issues? I think clearly the government must go back and renegotiate. This is a simple contract situation. You contracted with them and you agreed to pay 58,000 cedis for the farm gate price. Now it's no longer tenable. What do? You must go back and renegotiate. But before you go back and renegotiate, you must pay the accrued rights. The farmers are entitled to the accrued rights. By reason of the fact that they have supplied cocoa beans through the LBCs, the licensed buying companies, to you. But now, when you go to the world market or the global market, you're not able to get a favorable price because of the reduction and fluctuation. So these are accrued rights that you must honor, obligations you must honor. So the government has an obligation to honor. Then going forward, you must go and renegotiate. I always want us to engage in a dispassionate analysis. Joe, the opposition New Patriotic Party, during their press conference, were blaming the government and they were blaming Cocobod for the challenge we have. I think this is very dishonest. Because they know that the reason why we are here is not because of the inefficiency of the current leadership of Cocobod or the government. It's because of the price fluctuation on the global markets. That is why we are here. Because the government cannot sell cocoa, the cocoa they purchase from the LBCs at $4,100, between $4,100 to $4,300, and come back and say, and even add more money to pay the farm gate price. That would be, that is serious. And again, they cannot blame the government can also blame the opposition, New Patriotic Party, and say that because at your time we were not able to secure syndicated loan, and because of that, because we were not able to get syndicated loan, that is why we are in this mess. I mean, the two sides are not being honest.
I mean, if, as far as I can remember, I mean, we don't recall having a discussion on cocoa farmers not being able to receive it. And I mean, all the materials available, when you read it, it all points to the fact that the syndicated loan appeared to be a bit of a sustainable model. And because of our state of affairs, they say we decided not to go for it again.
In fact, because we've not had the opportunity to do a serious analysis with the syndicated loan, and Bachman hinted on that. In fact, we are incurring a lot of debt. Syndicated loan, you go for loans with, and even through the infographics you displayed, it's not a sustainable model. It's really not a sustainable. We've been able to do that for close to 3 decades, but is it a sustainable model? Why do we go for a model that, in fact, brings in more debt, a model that brings in more debt rather than benefits? It wasn't a sustainable model. So we cannot sit here and blame the syndicated loan. The thing is that, ask yourself, when you compare the farm gate prices over the years, you realize that this government had rather gone for the higher haul. In fact, they've gone for the jugular. Because of politics, they promised to help cocoa farmers, and they promised to do the undoable. And that is why we are in the challenge we find ourselves. I think we need to engage in a dispassionate, honest conversation. The problem we have on hand has nothing to do with stopping the syndicated loan or being unable to access syndicated loan. And again, has nothing to do with inefficiency of the current leadership of the Cocobod or the government. I think it has to do with the fact that we promised more to the cocoa farmers. Yet now when we go to the international market, we're not getting the higher price.
Yeah, I mean, but then it comes back to our projections as well. We can't take that out.
That is why...
I mean, of course, there are things that can happen suddenly, but no. if I don't know if we can bring back the graph that shows the price changes just to put it within context for us to see how the price have been behaving. But then the point I'm making is the projections.
No. So that's what I'm saying, that we need to be honest.
Yes. So you can see how it looks here. And if you start from 2025, you realize that there was a downward trend. Things went up a bit May, July, thereabouts. Then it drops again towards the September. It drops further.
We and some of the course or Chinese so mammy and I was so jemre or Asene say Obadi and the Dumbi Edomania. It was some realm, na a small constant.